Here is our identity self-portraits we're going to be working toward. We are going to draw our self-portraits, and then one half of the face is going to be painted with the colors that are realistic, and then the other half is going to be different symbols about you, and then you can also use maybe your favorite colors, or you might pick out a color palette that you want to use. So the first thing is we are going to practice drawing our self-portrait. I've got some different tools we can use today. We're going to start with pencil and then trace with Sharpie today. The eraser is a really good friend of yours whenever you do a self-portrait. I also have a head shape you can trace if you need help with that. I marked which side the chin was on. Your chin is a little bit smaller than the top of your head, so it's a little bit smaller. And then I'll have some handouts too if you need some help with some other details. This one is of me, and I want to do a demonstration of a boy since I've already done a girl. So I'm gonna show you that today. I'm gonna let you choose which way you turn your paper. You can turn it horizontally, which is this way, if you like that style. Or if you want to turn it vertically, which is up and down, you can do it that way also. It's nice to have some choice with which way you want to do it. So I'm going to do the opposite. Since I've already done one that was horizontal of me, I'm going to do one vertical today of a boy. So I've got my paper turned vertically. Here we go. And then I'm going to use my tracer to trace the head. And I'm going to do this lightly with a pencil. So I'm just holding it in the middle. And then very lightly, I'm going around the edge. The reason I do this lightly is so if I make a mistake, it's easy to erase. You'll also notice I'm not writing my name yet. I like to do it at the very end, just to make sure I don't want to flip the paper over if I make any mistakes or anything like that. The next thing I'm going to do is to make a line down the middle of my drawing. This is going to help with our symmetry, so that means same on both sides as we sketch. And then eventually this is also going to be the marker of the realistic side versus the one that tells more about our identity. So I'm going to make a line right down the middle, just like that. Okay, so let's talk about the hair. Hairline, I usually think about the forehead going across right here. The eyes end up going in the middle of the face, which we'll get to. But since I'm doing a boy today, I'm actually going to look through some of these examples of some faces. I kind of like this hair right here. So I'm going to make hair that comes across the forehead, kind of makes a zigzag, and it comes down to where the ears are. And your ears are going to be one on each side, kind of lined up in the middle. Then I'm going to do hair across the other side down to the ear. And again, I'm just kind of sketching this out lightly. I'm not shading in the hair. You might make a line, a mark or two, but we're not coloring it in because again, like I said, we'll do that with the paint next time. All right, so let's talk about our eye shape. Usually I start with a football shape for the eye. Some of these examples have eyes that are closed. If you have glasses, so that could be part of your identity. You might look at the shape of your eyebrow as you're working, and eyelashes could be something you could add. So I'm going to start right here in the middle, and what I'm going to do is to make, you could either start with that football shape, or I'm going to start with the colored part of my eye, which is the iris, or this little boy's eye, and it's just a little circle. Can you see that? And then I'm going to take my pencil and make a line across the top. That's sort of like a rainbow, one on each side. You could leave it like this. This would make more of an eye. Let me hold this up. Sort of like this one, if you can see that. So you could leave it simple like that, or if you wanted to close up the eye, you could also do that. I'm gonna think about eyebrows. Maybe this little boy has just kind of an arched eyebrow shape that's a little bit thicker. And again, this is something you can think about the way you look. Do you have thinner eyebrows? Do you have thicker eyebrows? How can we get it to look like you? Now, noses, we can look at noses. The big thing with noses when I'm drawing them is I like to keep them really simple. So if you look at some of these, some of them are even just a line across the bottom. You might have one line going down. I really just try to think about doing kind of a simple nose. as I sketch. So I'm gonna come down, let's see, let's give him maybe one line and just a little curve, and maybe I'll give him both sides of his nose down here. I'll hold it up a little bit. I know I'm drawing very lightly. And then the last thing is the mouth, and you can show a lot of expression in the mouth. You can make it more of a peaceful smile. You can do your teeth. You could do teeth open. If you're missing a tooth, that could be fun to draw. We want it to look like you. So just kind of think about what you want the mouth to look like. You could do it more surprised. That one's kind of fun. So I think I'm going to make him, let's just give him kind of a peaceful smile. I'm gonna do a line across the middle here, a top lip and a bottom lip. Something about like that. And the shoulders and the neck. So usually what I do is the outside of the eye. If you go straight down, so right here, straight down, that should be how thick your neck is. Outside of the eye, straight down, right down here. So his chin, I'm gonna make his chin a little bit bigger. And I kind of change and tweak my drawing as I go. And then you can think about the shirt you're wearing. Again, this side's gonna be realistic and this side's gonna be more of the identity. So if you look at my original one, I drew a black shirt on myself on this one. This side, I just kind of drew the outline of my shoulder, but I didn't even draw my shirt on this side. I did this cool rainbow for mine. So you can think about what you might want to do with that. I'm just going to mark off about where the collar would be and then about where my shoulders will be. So this is a good quick little sketch of, here's a boy, a self-portrait, and then I'm going to use my Sharpie to trace. This is probably about as far as we're going to get for today. And then next week, we'll come back in and talk a little bit about adding our details, adding our identity symbols and colors, okay? So work on your self-portraits today. If you get finished, you can slowly start tracing your pencil lines. All we need is the outside line, so we are ready to paint. So I'll get this finished up and then we'll continue on next week.